Hi everyone, I hope everybody is doing good. So, my name is Prasanth Sahoo, and I'm here to teach you all about the blockchain technology. So, before learning about this technology, let me introduce about myself, like who am I. So, I'm Prasanth, working with TCS for about 3.5 years as a DevOps, cloud engineer, and Scrum Master, and I'm a blockchain expert, and at the same time, I'm also passionate in driving the digital technology initiatives like blockchain, DevOps, enterprise architecture, and then Agile. I'm a certified blockchain expert from the Blockchain Council and serving as a member of board in this Blockchain Council. I've been selected as a speaker to the China International Industry Big Data Expo 2018 by the Chinese government, and simultaneously I was also being selected to the International Blockchain Council by the government of Telangana and Goa. I've also received various accolades for the presentation in China International Industry Big Data Expo by the Chinese government, and I'm also the working group member in Blockchain Council, Cryptocurrency Certification Consortium, Scrum Alliance, Scrum Organization, and International Institute of Business Analysis. So this is a small profile about me, and you can also visit me in my portfolio website, that is www.prashantsahu.com. Okay, so that's my website, or also you can go to LinkedIn and you can find out me. So it's Prashant Sahu. You can just find out me in LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and at the same time, you can also find me out in my portfolio website. That's www.prashantsahu.com. So this is a small intro about me. If you want to deeply explore about me, you can just find out the ways whatever I have actually mentioned right now. So let me explain you like what exactly is this technology. And many people would have heard about this blockchain technology, right? Like somewhere or the other every day, either in the form of an advertisement or either in the form of government trying to do a lot of things in this technology, or maybe in your colleges, universities, wherever it may be. Everybody is talking about this technology. There's many people to ask me, like, is this technology a hype, or is it really having that much caliber? So let us find out. So I don't want to just say in the starting that yes, this technology is going to do a miracle. No, let us find it out. Let us all of us will try to do. We'll try to find out whether this is going to be an efficient way or whether this is going to stand out when compared to other technologies or not. Let us go deep into it and explore. Okay. So now let me explain you the very important thing. The very first question which we need to question ourselves is like, how long is this technology going to sustain? So before learning any technology, you should be in a position to understand that, like, how long is this technology going to work? So that's the first question, right? Because you all are trying to put your time, your investment, and then you are trying to figure out this technology and then you're diving into it. Later, you came to know after 2 years or 5 years that this technology is going to, I mean, to say it's not going to sustain. Then what are you going to do then? You're gone. You have invested 5, 6 years on this technology, and today, after 6 years, we came to know that this technology is not going to sustain. So it should not be like this. So what you need to do here is you first need to understand that whatever technology we are learning, is it really worth to put our investment, to put our time on top of it? So first you need to know that. So for that reason, Gartner is one of the best US-based research. I mean to say, like, it is a Gartner tries to give us the reports. Okay, Gartner tries to give us the reports based on all the latest technologies. It is nowhere relevant to only the blockchain technology, AI. If you take your big data, Internet of Things, machine learning, blockchain. So if you take all these technologies into consideration, right? Gartner tries to frame reports, and Gartner's reports are very much accurate. They are very much accurate, and industries also do follow Gartner records, taking that into consideration, because as you know, in industries, I mean to say that they do a long span projects. They don't complete the projects within 1 month or 2 months. Those are for 2 years, 5 years. They need to know when they invest some amount of money, right? They need to know that whatever technology they are trying to use it right now, whether it is going to be sustainable down the line after 10 or 15 years, right? For that reason, Gartner plays a very vital role, and Gartner is a very famous US research-based institute where it tries to predict each and every technology. It gives the vision of the technology, and then whenever you want to learn any technology, right, it's always suggestible for you all to go ahead and try to follow Gartner, because Gartner gives you the absolute results. So because when I do follow Gartner, many people try to follow this Gartner. Okay, so this is one of the important suggestions. Now let us go into Gartner and see that whether blockchain technology is it present inside the Gartner or not. Let us just dive a little bit inside it. If you see here, it says blockchain, quantum computing, augmented analytics, and artificial intelligence. So these are the things which are going to drive. Okay, these are the things which are going to be drive the new business models. Okay, so now when I say that these are going to drive the new business models, so what does this indicate? So this indicates that the technology is going to sustain for at least a decade minimum. That means because this is gonna drive the new business models. Okay, that means the existing business model which are actually present, and at the same time the new business models which are right now. So all these are going to be disrupted with this technology. So this is the first thing. That means whether the very first question which comes into our mind is, when I'm trying to learn this technology, is it really going to be worth? The first question. So now for that question, I would give you the answer saying that yes, it is worth. Because if you go to Gartner, this is not my reports or my analysis I'm trying to give. This is an analysis from the US research-based institute, which all industries try to follow this Gartner. And there it's been clearly mentioned saying that your blockchain, quantum computing, augmented analytics, and artificial intelligence. So these are going to drive the new business models as well as the existing business models too. So this itself indicates that yes, this technology which I'm going to learn right now is going to have great future. Okay, so now you all are in the right place. So this is where you could see the scope of the technology. Now, immediately once the scope, okay, you came to know that yes, there is a scope towards this technology, that's fine. But there is also one more important thing which you need to consider here. So what's that? So that is, do I have any opportunities? Let me say if I learn this technology, do I really have any opportunities in the market so that I can go and I can showcase my skills like whatever I have learned? Yes. Without opportunities, there wouldn't be demand. So let me show you some opportunities. Now, what are certain opportunities which are present here? If you see blockchain on AWS. Now, I don't know whether you know about it or not, like AWS. AWS is an Amazon Web Service. It is a cloud service provided by the Amazon. So now, AWS is trying to integrate the blockchain on top of it. Already they have successfully completed the Hyperledger part. Now they are entering into Ethereum part. Now these two are the applications of the blockchain technology. Okay, so now Amazon is working on the blockchain to make sure that it can integrate this blockchain services on top of its cloud. That is AWS, Amazon Web Services. Now let me go to another company. Now if you see here blockchain, this is Microsoft. Microsoft is doing an extensive research on the blockchain since 2014. If you could see the date on the screen, it is on August 1st, 2014. And now they have achieved something called as BaaS. Now what is that BaaS? It's nothing but blockchain as a service. Okay, so let me show you that. So already you know that, right? We'll be having something called as BaaS. Okay, so this is what we call it as blockchain as a service. Okay, so this is something which Microsoft is providing, along with, if you know about the cloud, we have as SaaS and PaaS. Okay, this is infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and then platform as a service. Now, along with this, okay, along with this, we also have something called as blockchain as a service. Okay, so this is the one which Microsoft is actually trying to provide, and their cloud service name is Microsoft Azure. Okay, now going to Google. So even Google also is trying to work on Google Cloud. So they are also trying to integrate the blockchain on top of its cloud, that is a Google Cloud. Even IBM. IBM is also trying to integrate the blockchain onto the Bluemix, that's IBM Bluemix. Okay, so now if you see here, now coming to service-based companies, for example, if I take an example of TCS. Now TCS is also trying to integrate the blockchain solutions on a separate platform called as Quartz. It's QUARTZ. It's a Quartz platform where TCS tries to deploy all the blockchain solutions on top of it. Now, do you think only these many companies are present? No, guys. As we have enough time with us, I mean to say like only time, there's a time barrier over here. Okay, I have a time barrier. So I can't show you each and everything, right? But I'm just giving you a small examples like where you can try to explore as much as you can. So now if I would say, I have taken the product-based companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google. Now these companies are really working on this technology a lot. Okay, and they have integrated on top of it the clouds, like Microsoft is doing the Microsoft Azure, Amazon is working on AWS, and at the same time, Google is working on its Google Cloud, IBM is working on its Bluemix. Now everybody is trying to integrate the blockchain on top of its cloud. Okay, and then coming to service-based companies like TCS, Infosys, Capgemini, Cognizant, HCL, there are so many service-based companies, namely in India especially. All the companies are also working on the blockchain technology. So there is no such company which says that I don't want to work on this technology. No, why these companies are working on this technology? No, there are so many technologies, right? Like why these companies are working only on this technology? Why not any other technology? Yes, they are also working on rest of the technologies also, but why on blockchain, especially when every company is trying to focus on this? So let me explain you that with a proper example so that you can understand. Till now what we have covered, one is the scope of the technology where we can get that from the Gartner. Okay, so Gartner says that yes, this technology is going to drive the new business models in the coming future. Okay, and then we have seen some opportunities where you can see that in Amazon Web Services, AWS, and then Microsoft, and then Google Cloud. Okay, so now in the TCS also. So now all of these service-based companies and product-based companies, now all these companies are really focusing very hard on top of this technology. Now my question to you all is like why? Like why they are focusing on this technology? So let us discuss this part because that's the main essence of it. Okay, so let me show you that. So now guys, let me say, you know about some of the other technologies like AI or maybe big data, okay? We'll take like machine learning and then let us say it is IoT. Okay, there are so many other technologies too. Let us consider these technologies for the time being, okay? Now, let me say there is one company, okay? There is one company which designed a car, okay? Which designed a car. Now, this car is self-automated car, okay? Let us say this is been designed by the Google, self-automated car. Okay, there is at the other end, okay, this is Google. At the other end, there is Tesla. They are also trying to do the same product, okay? Self-automated car. Now, both of them are in competition in the market using AI. Because using AI, it's like something they're going to predict and then they're going to understand like how the car needs to behave. That's all about AI concepts, okay? Now, what is going to happen here? When I'm trying to take artificial intelligence into consideration, yes, both of them are having a healthy competition. Among them, both of them will be coming up with their products. That's really fine. But let me see. Tesla has proper data, and Google is also having a proper data. Okay. Now, unfortunately, one day, what actually happened is Google's data has been hacked. Google's data has been hacked. And now what is going to happen here once the data is being hacked, right? Now automatically whatever data which is present relevant to the self-automated car, now that data is being removed. Okay, it may be going to Tesla or it may be going to any other company. Now the competitor will become more advantage because already the Google has lost the data. You understand, right? So even though you use any latest technology in the market, it may be your AI, big data, IoT, whatever concept you're trying to use, and if you implement any great product in the market, right? But at the end of the day, if the trust is not there, then there is nothing. If your data, if the data is not preserved in the right manner, then there is nothing. You take any technology. You let me say you used artificial intelligence, you designed a very good product on your own. And tomorrow when you go out to the market and say that, hey, I've done this product, then yes, that's really great. You have used some great latest technologies and you have done the product. That's absolutely right. But the question here is, tomorrow, the same product, if somebody is trying to do with the great features, then will your product be still out in the market? No. No, that product will automatically beat you. Now, how come he got to know about your idea and everything? At the back end, your data has been leaked, which you don't know about it. So, to preserve this data, okay, to provide integrity to your data, whatever you are trying to store, to provide accountability, we require one important technology, and that is where your blockchain technology actually fits here. So this is the blockchain technology, and your data actually gets preserved inside this layer. So you use AI, you use your IoT, you use your ML, you use your big data, whatever it is, whatever technology you are trying to use, right? Each and every technology have to integrate with the blockchain technology, guys, because ultimately all the technologies have enormous amount of data. Now if they are not in a position to be, I mean to say, like, they are not preserved appropriately, right, then the data is nowhere, then the data will be lost. Now you use any latest technology in the market, people are not bothered here. People are bothered that whether you're in a position to preserve the data in a much secure pattern, because if that is there, the trust is there. If trust is there, there is business, otherwise there is no business. You understand, right? So that is the reason I'm trying to say AI in integration with blockchain, big data in integration with blockchain, IoT, machine learning in integration with blockchain. Before you integrate, you need to understand what is blockchain actually. What is blockchain? So blockchain deals with, you came to know one important parameter from here, that is the blockchain actually deals the important parameter, that is what we call as data. It handles your data in a more secure pattern. Okay, so this is something which everybody actually needs to understand, that blockchain especially targets the data. Okay, so this is the one example which I actually want to say all, because you need to know. Let me say if somebody comes and asks you, blockchain. Blockchain means, don't think that, okay, it's like just a blocks and then there are chains. It's not that. Yeah, it is also one of the important part, but that's not the main part. The main essence of the blockchain technology is to preserve your data in a more secure way. You know, right? Data is these days is an asset. The best example, if I can say you, recently you would have seen that the Twitter account being hacked of Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates. You would have seen that, right? Now see, Twitter uses AI. Okay, Twitter uses your AI. Now, people never bother that Twitter, whether it is using AI or not, or whether it is able to predict cognitive analytics, whether they are using. Nobody is bothered. But once the Twitter got hacked, okay, that became a sensational news. Why? Because they, even though they use the latest technologies, and if they are not in a position to protect the account, then what is the main purpose of that account? Then Twitter, then there is no purpose of Twitter, right? So for that reason, you need to understand here, okay, the main important essence of any technology you name, the data. If the data is not preserved, there is no value to the technology, guys. So the blockchain will create a value to all the technologies which are present inside the market. So that is the reason why everybody is talking about the blockchain. Everywhere you are hearing about this blockchain, and it is not the hype, it is a reality, which sooner everybody of us will see it. And almost 50% of the states in India have started implementing this technology. And there are also some states which they didn't start yet, and now they have already starting implementing this blockchain technology, guys. Okay, so now let me go ahead with one more step. So till now what we have covered, okay? Till now what actually we have covered. So we have covered the scope of the technology, from where we got that. So from Gartner, okay, we have got that from Gartner. And then opportunities, okay, I explained you relevant to the opportunities. Okay, so opportunities like some companies, like you can also mention your own companies, whatever you want. Okay, I have shown you some product based companies and then the service based company. You can also go ahead and find out in startups and everything. Everybody is exploring this technology, guys. And then I said one more important thing. Now, where is this blockchain technology going to play a vital role? That is in the data field. Okay, so this is the most important thing which everybody actually needs to understand. Okay, so now as we have covered these three parts, right? Now let us go ahead little bit further. Now slowly we are entering into it. Now you came to know that these three are the important questions to everybody. When you want to learn any technology, these three questions first it needs to be answered. If these three questions are not answered, and if you learn the technology and then later after 1 month or 2 months, once you complete your course, and then at the, like let us say after 1 month, if you turn back and then if you see, and if you don't answer these questions at the start, then you have wasted 1 month of your time, because time is these days is an asset. You should not miss that. You understand, right? For that reason, I'm trying to say scope, opportunities, and then the importance of the technology. If you know these three answers before you enter into any particular course or before you learn into this any technology, if you know all these three questions to be answered, then everything is absolute. Then you can go ahead and learn, and then you can excel in that technology, guys. Okay, so for that reason, I want to first explain you these three important parameters. I hope that I have explained to you all very clearly what is scope, what is opportunities, and what is blockchain, and where the blockchain is actually trying to target. So these are the some important things which I want to actually discuss, guys. Now, let us go ahead one step further again. Let us see the origin of the blockchain. Like, when did this blockchain originated and why did it originate? Okay, so there should be something, some logic, right? Before the technology comes, there should be something present. Like, that is the reason why the technology has evolved. Otherwise, people wouldn't just sit idle and just think about the technologies, right? There may be some concern. To overcome that concern, we require one technologies. Maybe it is AI, big data, everything came up based on one concern. So to overcome that concern, we use these technologies. So let us see how did the blockchain actually evolve. Now, how is it going to play a very vital role? Let me explain you the origin of the blockchain, okay? How actually it started. So let us go ahead with origin. So now what actually has happened is, let me say, guys, you are there, your friend, and then some strangers. Now, y'all are actually what? So y'all are savers. Savers in the sense, like y'all, like some people y'all earn, and there are some students, okay? Now everybody of you, what you try to do is, you get, see, if you're a student, you get your pocket money from your parents, okay? Or if you are let me say, if you're a research scholar, you get a stipend, okay, stipend. And then if you are a salaried guy, then you will be getting a salaried income. So you all are all savers, okay? Now you use certain services, guys. Let me say it may be your Swiggy, okay, or it may be your Ola, whatever it is, whatever services you want to use. Now these guys are users in the sense they use your money, whatever money which is present in the market, right? This Swiggy and Ola, they try to use the money, guys. Okay, they try to basically use the money. Now what actually is going to happen here is, let me see, you are present here. Now if you want to transfer money to Swiggy, would it directly happen? No, it would not directly happen. There is one more person who's sitting here, that is bank. Now you pay to bank, and then bank tries to pay to Swiggy. This is the mechanism. Okay, either you pay it through the form of net banking, or either you pay it through card, or maybe any wallet, whatever it may be. Okay, this is the mechanism. You pay to the bank, and then bank tries to settle the payment with Swiggy. Okay, so this is, let me say, this is a bank 1, and then like that bank 2, okay, bank 3, and then bank 4. Like this, there are so many banks available. Let me say bank 1 is your SBI, HDFC, Citibank, ICICI Bank. Like this, there are so many banks available in the market, okay? Now, these banks, they act as an intermediary over here, so as to make sure that your transaction would be settled with the other party, which, like I mean to say, if you want to use the services of Swiggy, now if you want to use the service of the Swiggy, you need to pay through bank, and then bank settles the payment. So this is a general mechanism which actually happens. Okay, so now if you see here in this case, even your friends does the same, your strangers does the same, everybody, they have to go through this bank channel, and then they have to settle the payment to whatever services they actually want. So this is the mechanism which we have. Now every bank is going to have its own database, guys. Okay, every bank is going to have its own database. Now this database which is actually present with them is a centralized database. That means this is the sole owner. Banks are the sole owners of the database. Nobody else, okay? And who is the trust here? Whom are we trusting here? The banks. The trust here is bank. Okay, we are excessively, or we could say that we are so much been involved with the banks that whatever they say, we have to believe it. That's it. There is no other option being available. Okay. So now let me say, this is your bank, and this is your database. Now let me say tomorrow bank says that if you don't have a minimum deposit or minimum savings account, like I mean to say in the savings account, minimum balance should be 3,000. Otherwise, you have to pay a fine of around 100 rupee or 500 rupee if they say. Would you say, no, 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 I will go for a hunger strike. I would not allow it. Would you go like that? I don't think so. If you go also, it would not fetch any result to you, because the main reason is the bank is handling your database. You are the customer in the bank, and those all details are maintained by the bank only. And they are the superior rulers over here. So they don't ask you. Okay, they don't ask you saying that, let me say, they will not ask, I mean to say, they don't call Prasanth. For example, Prasanth is having an account in SBI. Now they don't call Prasanth and they ask, right? Like, hey Prasanth, like tomorrow we are going to change this rule, so is it okay for you? No. They take their own decision and then they try to come out saying that this is what we are going to do. And you have to follow it. Either you have it or not, you have to follow. So this is a problem with intermediaries who are actually standing behind. Like all the banks, if you take, right? So we are trusting them. Yes, that's good. But we are excessively trusting them. Whatever they say, everything we have to follow because the data, whatever our data is, their customers' data is actually present with them. Okay. So now what actually happened is in the year 2008, guys, okay, in the year 2008, if you remember, this is the most important year for economical recession. There was an economical recession in the year 2008. Now, why did this recession happen? Recession means right now you also could see the recession is happening where people would the layoff in the jobs, and then you could see people like many companies would go to loss, and then they would be I mean to say they will be laying off people saying that we don't require your services anymore. So this is something which actually happens. In the year 2008 also the same thing happened, but this time it was COVID-19, the pandemic, which is creating a big, I mean to say, it is a big mishap which is creating in the market. But right in the year 2008, the role was given to banks. These banks made a mess. In the year 2008, the banks actually made a mess. Because of the banks, in the year 2008, every sector suffered. Let me say you're working in an IT sector and the person who's done a mistake in the banking sector, right? If the banking sector gets disturbed, all the sectors gets disturbed, guys. Even though you are related to them or you're not related to them, but you will be disturbed. And due to some banks like Lehman banks, okay, there was a Lehman bank and there were some other banks been also involved. They have given loan to the persons who don't even have a proper credibility to take the loan. Okay, and then those people have never returned back the loan and there was loss in the market. There was no enough money in the market. So due to the banks, many people have lost their jobs. Now, where is bank and where is IT sector and where is automobile sector, where is any other sector, energy sector? Now, nobody is correlated here, right? Everybody is doing their own job with their own respective timing. And tomorrow you came to see that all your banks have disturbed the entire flow of it. And due to that, a person in IT sector, a person in automobile sector, or maybe a person in mechanical sector, everybody is getting disturbed and they are facing the layoffs only because of one organization which made a mess. And for that reason, in the year 2009, okay, in the year 2009, there was one person, okay, there was one person who came up and said that we don't want to get involved with the banks at all. No, these banks are not giving us a fruitful result. What is this? Because of banks, we are facing lots of issues and everything, right? Let us not go ahead with the banks. So he came up with a concept called as P2P. Now, what is this P2P? I'll explain you. I'll explain you further what is this P2P. But you should remember right now, in the year 2009, there was one person who came up and said that we will not be involved with the banks because they are not going to give us a fruitful result. So for that reason, let me go ahead and create something new. So this is one person's idea. Now, who is that person? What is that idea? I'm going to explain you right now. So I hope you got a clear clarity on till here, like whatever I've explained you. So this is how the origin has slowly evolved. So due to the banks' mischievous things and due to the banks providing a bad loans and due to the banks being impacted, every sector has actually faced a problem because we are excessively dependent on banks. For that reason, I'm trying to say. Now let me see, like in the year 2009, what Satoshi Nakamoto has said, and let me discuss with you all. Like, will that idea really survive or will that idea wouldn't survive? Let us discuss about it, okay? So let me just go ahead with it. Now, as I said, in the year 2009, okay, in the year 2008 only, actually in the year 2008 only, this person, actually he has wrote a paper. I'll say what is that paper. And then in the 2009 implementation, okay. So first was paper and then the implementation. Now, who is that person? Okay, now if you see this person here, the person's name here in this case is Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, his name is Satoshi Nakamoto. Now what he did, this person in the year 2008, he has seen the bank problem. Okay, whatever I've discussed in the previous part, right? The bank problem. Now that due to the banking problem, this person Satoshi Nakamoto, he turned up in the year 2008 with a concept called as P2P. Now P2P means one peer, that is peer to peer. We call this peer. P means peer. It's peer to peer. That means what I'm trying to say is this one, like let us say a person A, if he wants to send money to person B, there will be no intermediaries involved here. No intermediaries, no banks, no direct transfer you can do to this person. So here A is one peer and B is one peer. So you can do directly peer to peer without help of any third parties or intermediaries, guys. Okay, so there will be no third parties or intermediaries involved here. Directly you can pay the payment without any third parties or intermediaries. And Satoshi Nakamoto, who is actually present here, right? He is the person who came up with this P2P concept. Now, from where did he get? He didn't go to everybody's house and said that, hey guys, please use P2P, P2P. Not like that. So he has written a paper. In the year 2008, he has written a research paper. Okay, he has written a research paper. In that research paper, he has explained the entire concept of what is P2P. Okay, how blockchain technology will actually play a very vital role. So each and everything he explained at that time. So now what he actually has written in the paper is, he said that the important essence of the paper is peer-to-peer without the help of any third parties or intermediaries. We should not be dependent on any third party or any intermediaries in this case. So we can directly go and we can do the payment without the help of any third parties or intermediaries. So this was one of the important suggestions which was given by Satoshi Nakamoto in his research paper. Now, what is that research paper? The research paper was written by Satoshi Nakamoto. It is a Bitcoin peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Okay, it is a Bitcoin peer-to-peer electronic cash system. At the end of the session, I'm going to show you that how that research paper will actually look like. Okay, so due to this, Satoshi Nakamoto came up, and how did he introduce this? He introduced it in the form of a Bitcoin. He introduced it in the form of a Bitcoin, guys. Okay, so this is actually what we call it as Bitcoin. Okay, he came up with his own coin called as Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the, like I mean to say, the person who has actually founded this Bitcoin, right? He's Satoshi Nakamoto, and Bitcoin has been evolved due to the problem of the banking sector in the year 2008, and it supports the concept called as P2P, that is peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Okay, so this is the most important thing which you actually need to understand, guys. So Bitcoin is what? Bitcoin is the first application of the blockchain technology, guys. Whatever Bitcoin I'm trying to say right now is, it is the first application of the blockchain technology. Okay, so now Satoshi Nakamoto, you know, right? Right now you would have know about him, Satoshi Nakamoto. He's in, let us say simply he's Satoshi. Okay, this person is Satoshi. Let us say this is Satoshi. Now Satoshi, what he actually tried to do, so Satoshi has actually tried to find out this Bitcoin. Okay, so he found out the Bitcoin when in the year 2008 he wrote a research paper, right? Then he created his code, that is open source code. Okay, he has written a code that is open source code, guys. Now this open source code, open source means what? That means this code can be used by anybody. Anybody can use this open code which is written by Satoshi Nakamoto. So in this code he has written everything, like how the Bitcoin should actually work, okay? And then how the peer-to-peer mechanism should actually work. Everything has been mentioned inside this open source code, guys. Now what is going to happen is, like it was when it was discovered in the year 2008. Right now, as the years been progressed, right now we are in 2020, right? So it's been gradually 12 years, okay? It's been gradually 12 years since the evaluation of the Bitcoin by the founder, that is Satoshi. Now, slowly as the years progressed, right, there were some forks, okay? Now, what is this fork, I'll say? Now, technically, we call this as fork. Now, what is a fork here? Fork is nothing but whenever, if somebody does an advancement in the code, okay, let us say you took an open source code, that is a Bitcoin code. Now, let me say you changed it in your own style. You changed it into your own style. That is a code advancement we try to say. And that is technically what we call it as fork. Now in this fork, so many people have come up with their own coins like Litecoin and then Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum and Litecoin, all these coins are also applications of the blockchain only, guys. But these code, the entire structure of the code, they have taken from the open source code of Bitcoin. From Bitcoin, actually, they have taken. Okay, so this is what we actually call it as forking mechanism. Forking mechanism here, technically, we try to say it as a fork, but normally, if I say whatever code which was written, if you try to change that code and if you try to change it in your own style, right, that is what we technically call it as the fork. And as the years progressed, many people took the reference of the Bitcoin code and then they have designed their own coins like Ethereum, Litecoin. So there are some of the coins also which have been evolved using this forking concept. Fork is nothing but advancement to the open source code, guys. Okay, I hope till here everybody is clear. So I think at least the people who don't even have an idea relevant to the blockchain technology and the people who have at least little bit of knowledge, and if you don't have a clear clarity, then I hope I have given you the enough and an appropriate solution so that you can understand like how these things have actually happened. This is how the logic, this is how the flow has actually occurred. Okay, so now let me explain you blockchain architecture. Now, what is present inside the blockchain and what are its architecture? So now you will get a clear clarity because I have explained you like what is the scope, what are the opportunities, and at the same time I also said you like what's that? Yeah, the origin of the technology. Okay, and then I also explained you that how the blockchain technology is playing a vital role in the data parameter, right? And then I have also explained you right now like how the open source code has played a very vital role for the other cryptocurrencies also, like Ethereum and Litecoin. Now let me explain you what is actually present inside the blockchain architecture. Okay, so let us go back to my presentation. Okay, so now if you see this presentation here, right? So if you see in this case, so this is your blockchain architecture. Now let me just go ahead. So inside the blockchain architecture, if you see here, it is trying to say that 22,000 Indian websites, guys, are already being hacked between 2017 to 2018. Forget about Indian websites. Global websites like Twitter are also right now in a panic state to change the security architecture. The reason for that is because they are not having a strong security mechanisms, guys. Facebook, if you would have seen the Facebook, right? You have seen that Mark Zuckerberg have went and he faced the senators at one instant, if you remember it, because Facebook data was leaked. Twitter, if you see the recently 1 week back, I think so, the famous renowned person's accounts have been leaked. Now, see, we are not in a position to secure the data, guys. That is the reason why this technology day by day, it is increasing its charm, and at the same time, it is increasing its potentiality. You understand, right? So that is the reason why this technology is actually going to play a very vital role in the coming years. Okay, so now let me go ahead, and if you see, this is the statement which was given by our Honorable Prime Minister of India. So he is trying to say that the disruptive technology, if you could see like blockchain here, okay, like blockchain and Internet of Things, so these are going to play a very vital role, and this will be rapidly adapted in all our workplaces. So understand the importance of this technology, guys. So that means the Honorable Prime Minister of India, if you know that a country like India, where especially the prime ministers and presidents, they never try to openly talk about any technologies until and unless it is proven, right? Because you know that India is too diplomatic in all types of situations, and even in that situation also, Honorable Prime Minister of India has quoted the above statement saying that the blockchain and IoT are going to play a very vital role, and this is going to be rapidly adapted in all our workplaces. Okay, so this is having a lot of potentiality in the market, guys. See, these are some of the statements which I have brought from some renowned persons. Okay, so now if you see one more thing, so it's a Don Tapscott, and beside him it's me. So I met him in China when I went to China International Expo, right? I have met Don Tapscott. So even if you could see here, Don Tapscott, okay, the Don Tapscott is actually present here. He is trying to say, okay, he's actually trying to say that, see, it's not your big data or robotics or not even AI, which is going to play a vital role. The technology which is actually going to play a very vital role is the technology which is underlying behind the Bitcoin. So behind Bitcoin, what is the technology which we have? It is called blockchain, guys. So who is Don Tapscott? He is the head of the Blockchain Research Institute. Okay, Don Tapscott is the head of the Blockchain Research Institute, and he has written a book called as Blockchain Revolution. Okay, this person has also written a book which we call it as Blockchain Revolution, guys. Okay, so this is Don Tapscott. Okay, where I got a chance and he explained me this is what is going to happen in the near future. Okay, so now what is blockchain, guys? Exactly, let me explain you like what is this blockchain technology is all about. Okay, so now it is trying to say, so this is a definition. First of all, no technology has any standard definition, guys. Every technology you can define it in your own style. Okay, it's what you understood it. It is not like, let me say, if somebody asks you technology, I have to go and study that technology. Okay, I have to mug up the technology. No, guys, that is not the definition of technology. Definition of technology is something what you understood it and how you are going to define it with the help of keywords. Now here I have taken the definition of Wikipedia. Why? Because I can define it in my own style and there is no compulsion that everybody actually needs to follow that, right? So if you see here, it says that a blockchain is a continuously growing list of records, and this is called blocks, and they are saying which are linked and secured using cryptography. Forget about this. Now let me explain you very clearly what it is. So here, if you want to understand the definition, what is being mentioned here, right? Let me go ahead with one more slide and then we'll come back to our definition again so that you can understand it. Okay. Now see here, this is how your blocks actually look like, guys. Okay. This is how actually your blocks look like. Now, if you see this, there are some block numbers here, 1, 2, and 3. Now, what are this? We call this as a block number, guys. And block numbers are arranged in a chronological pattern, like 1, 2, and 3. This is a chronological pattern. You can't bring the third block and try to fit in between 1 and 2. Okay? You can't bring the third block and try to fit in between 1 and 2, guys. It is all are arranged in a chronological pattern. That is one of the important things which we actually need to understand it. Okay? So now, we don't call, see, we know that it is the block number, but we don't call this as a block number, guys. Technically, we call this as the block height. Okay, technically, we actually call this as the block height. Okay, so this is what we call it as block height. We know that it is a block number, but it is a block height. Now, one question to everybody of you. How do you identify as a unique person when compared to others? Now, how do you identify as a unique person when compared to others? Now, everybody would try to say my Aadhaar card, my skill set, all these things. But I would say that no, those are not your unique things when compared to others. So the certain unique things are like, let me say, DNA of yours, your iris scanner, okay, and then your fingerprint. Okay, like whatever fingers you have, right? For those fingerprints, whatever fingerprints which are actually having. So let me take in this scenario, your fingerprint as a unique thing when compared to others, guys. Okay, if you take your fingers as a unique, okay, this is a unique fingerprint. Everybody of us have a unique fingerprint, guys. Now, when everybody of us are being identified by our fingerprint as a unique person, now, in the same way, every block is also being identified as a unique block, like how we have our fingerprint as a unique mechanism. If you see here, that is what we actually call it as the hash. Hash is nothing but you can correlate that in the form of a fingerprint. You can correlate this hash as a fingerprint of yours, saying that how your fingerprint is unique to you. In the same way, every block is going to have its own unique hash, guys. If you see block number 2, block number 3, all these block numbers are going to have its own unique hash, guys. Okay, so now this hash is what we call it as the unique hash. Now, how this hash get generated? How, like what is the algorithm? Is there any algorithm or is there any software where the hash gets generated? Yes, there is an algorithm which we call it as SHA-256 algorithm. Now, what is the full form of SHA, guys? It is Secure Hash Algorithm 256-bit. Okay, we use Secure Hash Algorithm 256-bit. Now, many people may get this question, why only 256? Why not 512? Why not 84-bit? So I would say research has proved saying that SHA-256 would be the best fit, okay, as a hash Okay, as a hash algorithm, SHA-256 would be the best fit. That is what has been indicated in the research. So based on the research, people have started implementing the SHA-256 algorithm while deriving the hash. Okay, so hash is nothing but it is a unique identification for the block, like how we have a fingerprint as a unique identification. In the same way, every block has its own unique identification, and that unique identification is what we call it as the hash over here. Okay, and then how the hash gets generated with the help of the SHA-256 algorithm, guys. Okay, so now how do you identify that whether it is the hash or not? Let me say if I give you some random numbers like this, some random numbers or alphabets, okay, like this, if I try to give, now how can you say that whether it is a hash or not? Now you should be in a position to detect that whether it is the hash or not. Now how you can detect it? Based on hexadecimal pattern, guys. Okay, based on hexadecimal pattern, because your SHA-256 algorithm actually follows the hexadecimal pattern. Now what is present inside the hexadecimal? So in the hexadecimal, you will have numbers from 0 to 9 and A to F alphabets, guys. Inside the hexadecimal, you will be having the numbers that is 0 to 9 and alphabets from A to F. Okay. So here in this case, so now if you see this, can you say me, is it a hash? Then if you see here, 2, 3, 8, 4, yeah, these are all under numbers 0 to 9, and ABC is also under A to F. But if you see, okay, what is this? Now this J, because of this J, now entire part will not become a hash. So you should be in a position to say that, like whatever hash which is actually present here, right, that is from number 0 to 9 and A to F alphabets which are actually present here, if this is falling under the hexadecimal pattern, then it is considered as SHA-256 algorithm. If not, it is not the SHA-256 algorithm, and it is not the hash. If you see here, every hash is falling under the SHA-256 algorithm, and it has numbers from 0 to 9 and A to F alphabets. For that reason, we are trying to call this as the hash. Okay, now how the blocks are interlinked. So before I say how the blocks are interlinked, generally if you take a normal chain, what is the speciality of a normal chain? If you try to break a link in a chain, right, you can get to know. Okay, you can get to know that where the breakage has actually occurred, and it is very difficult to break a chain, normal chain, because everything is interlinked. Now here, this also has the same special mechanism over here. If you see the blocks here, right, whatever blocks which are actually present here, every block is being interlinked to the previous block. If you see how it is being interlinked is, see here guys, second block has its own hash. Second block has the hash which starts with 4D, 5, 6E, something like that, right? Now this hash will become the third block's previous hash. And then fourth block is going to have its again, I mean to say third block is going to have its own hash. Now let me go to fourth block again. Now what will happen to fourth block? Now let me say here, there is a previous hash and then there will be a hash. Now what is hash? Hash will be a unique identification for the fourth block. Now in the previous hash, what will come? Okay, now if you see in the previous hash, what is going to happen? So in the previous hash, if you see whatever hash which is present in the third block, right, that hash will become the previous hash of the fourth block. So what we can try to say here, it is linked in the backward direction. See here, it is actually linked in the backward direction. That is what I intend to say here. So here, all the blocks which are actually present, right, all these blocks are being linked in the backward direction. If you see the first block, right, the first block in the blockchain is called Genesis block. The first block inside the blockchain is called Genesis block. Every first block in the blockchain is actually called as Genesis block, and this is the question which will be asked in the certification examination. What is the first block in the blockchain is called as? It is called Genesis block, guys. Okay. Now, if you see the first block, it has its own hash, because as I said, every block is going to have its own unique identification. That is its own hash. Now, why the previous hash is actually 0 in this case? Because if you see, is there any block prior to the first block? Is there any block before the first block? If I mean to say, there is no block. For that reason, the previous hash will be by default 0 only for the first block, because it doesn't have any blocks before it. Now, if you see second block here, second block also has its own hash. That is a unique identification for the second block. Now, what is the previous hash? If you see, the hash which is present in the first block will become the second block's previous hash here. Now, if you go to third block here, right? Again, in the third block is also gonna have its own hash. Third block is also gonna have its own hash. And then what is going to happen here? Whatever second block's hash is actually present, right? That second block's hash will become the previous hash of the third block. So this is what I explained for the fourth block also. Now you should be in a position to say that in the fourth block, what is going to happen? Fourth block is also gonna have its own hash, guys. That is a unique identification. Then parallelly with that, what is going to happen? It is gonna take the third block's hash as the previous hash of the fourth block. So that is the reason I'm trying to say it is linked in the backward direction. Okay, so I hope now you got a clarity. So I left one more parameter. What is that? That is a data. Now inside the data, you can put any data. Now let me not talk in detail relevant to data right now, because there are so many types of data which we can try to put inside the blockchain. But try to understand that yes, we can try to put data inside the blockchain. Either it may be transaction data, or either it may be your documents, or either it may be any of the data. Whatever data you want to put, you can put it inside this blockchain. So now seeing this slide, what you got to know, all the blocks are arranged in a chronological pattern. You can't just try to arrange in 1, 3, 5, 7 or some pattern like this. It should always be in a chronological pattern like number 1, 2, 3, 4, in a sequential pattern, if I would say. And then we discussed about the hash over here. Hash is nothing but it is a unique identification, like how we have as a fingerprint. You can correlate your fingerprint over here, saying that every block has its own unique identification. That is what we call it as the hash. Now in the hash, we use an algorithm which we call SHA-256 algorithm. SHA full form is secure hash algorithm, 256 bit, which is a hexadecimal, which falls under the range 0 to 9 and A to F alphabets. Okay, if that is under that particular range, then you can say that whether it is the hash or not. If not, it is not the hash. Okay, now how the blocks are interlinked? So blocks are interlinked with the help of previous hash. With the help of the previous hash, it is been interlinked. That is the reason we call this as the blockchain. Why do we call this as a blockchain? Because all the blocks which you could see here, right? So those blocks are being interlinked with the previous block. How they are being interlinked? With the help of the previous hash. That is the reason why we call this as the blockchain, guys. Okay, so that is the important mechanism which you actually need to understand here. And what is the first block in the blockchain is called as, it is a genesis block. And what is the previous hash for it? It is 0. Why it is 0? Because there are no blocks prior to it, or before that there are no blocks. That's the reason the previous hash is 0. Now let us go back and see the definition of the blockchain. Now right now I think it will be very easy for you to understand what actually is the definition which is mentioned in Wikipedia. Okay, now, and I said data, there are many types of data. So that data part will be discussed at any time later, but not right now. There are so many types of data like your transaction data, documentation data, and at the same time structured, unstructured. There are so many types of data being available again. Okay. So now if you see here, so this is what we actually call a blockchain is a continuously growing list of records called blocks. Like it is a continuously growing list of records means 1, 2, 3, 4. Like now if you see in this, we have seen 3 blocks. Like this, it keeps on going sequential. Right now we have million blocks. Right now we have million blocks like this, which are linked and secured using what? Cryptography. So what is the cryptography which we are using here? That is what we call it as hashing mechanism, guys. That is what we actually call as hashing. Okay, this cryptography, what they're trying to talk here, right? It is nothing but your hashing. Now hashing, how it is being done using your SHA-256 algorithm. That's it. Nothing more than that. So this is which was been explained. And this concept is not new, guys. This concept was actually been discovered in the year 1990 itself. In the year 1990 itself, they discovered it. Now these two guys, Stuart Harper and Scott Stornetta, they have already discussed these concepts in the year 1990, but nobody was interested at that time because nobody knows like the data security, it will play a very vital role in 1990. Now as it became demand, so this paper in the, as I mentioned already, in the year 2008, Satoshi's paper became very popular. Satoshi's Bitcoin paper became very popular because at that time there was a very big tragic incident happened, as I said, the bank's part, right? So then the demand increased and people started following his paper. But I would try to say this was not the first paper. The first paper was actually written in the 1990 only. The paper name is How to Timestamp a Digital Document. Okay, how to timestamp Okay, how to timestamp a digital document. So this was the paper where everything was explained relevant to blockchain by Stuart Harper and Scott Stornetta in the year 1990 itself. Okay, so this is something which I actually want to explain it to you all. And now, if you see, these are all are the properties of the blockchain, guys. These are all are the properties of the blockchain. Okay, now what is hash cryptography? I will not be going in detail relevant to this. I'll just say, if you know what is hash cryptography, explained it in the previous slide, that is SHA-256, and then based on the hexadecimal, you will be able to find it out, like whether the hash, whether it is a hash or not. And hash is nothing but it is a unique identification for each and every block. Now, what is immutable, guys? Immutable means it tries to say that once the data is present inside the blockchain, once the data is actually present inside the blockchain, that data can't be changed ever. Once the data is present inside the blockchain, that data can't be changed by anybody, guys. So you need to be overcautious when you try to insert the data inside the blockchain, because even the owner and as well as the other persons can't change the data once it is been inserted into the blockchain. And that is what we call immutable. Immutable means we can't change anything inside. Okay, we can't change inside, I mean to say inside the document or anything, whatever you try to insert it into the blockchain, right? Once you insert, okay, once you insert anything inside the data, I mean to say inside the blockchain, you can't change anything. That is what we call it as immutable ledger. And then we have something called as distributed P2P. Distributed peer-to-peer network means this is again a different concept altogether, guys. So here we will not be following a centralized server. All the data gets distributed. Okay, it gets distributed to various systems, not to one single system, but the data gets distributed to all the systems. We never have a single server. Like a centralized server model is not present here. Distributed model is actually something like where the data gets distributed to all the nodes. We call here this every system as a node. Okay, so it gets distributed to all the nodes here. So it will not be present in a single system. Mining is something relevant to explicitly to cryptocurrencies, guys. Wherever now see, generally if you see the currencies, your liquid cash, who mints it? RBI mints it, and then it supplies the money to respective banks, SBI, ICICI, HDFC. You take any bank, okay? The money comes from the RBI into the from banks to market. This is the flow. Who does the minting? RBI does the minting. Now here, mining is done by miners. Miners does the mining. If you take any coin like your Bitcoin, okay, or your Ethereum, whatever you name it, all these coins which are actually present here, right? Now these coins generally they come from mining concept. Miners, they mine it and then these coins try to come out. So that is what we actually call it as cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies come under the mining process, guys. And what is this consensus protocol? I'm just giving you an overview, guys. I'm not going in depth. There's whatever properties which are present here, right? Everything has a lot of in-depth focus onto it. Like if you say hash or immutable distributed, right? Everything, if you want to know, you have to deep dive into it. I'm just giving you an overview, saying that what is what. At least in the near future, if you get to know about these terms, so that you will understand that what the other person is trying to talk, or if let us say if you're studying an article, then you will be in a position to understand that what terms they're trying to use relevant to technology. Now, what is consensus? Consensus means it's understanding. Okay. Now, consensus means it's simply nothing but understanding. Now, understanding means what? Now, as you see, consensus protocol and distributed are both are interrelated. Now, let me say the data is getting distributed to all the systems I said. That is nothing but a nodes. Okay. Now, this system, let us say the data is present inside the first system. Now, the data enters into second system. Now, the second system is accepting the data from the first system. How it is accepting? Based on the consensus. Because there is an understanding between these two systems. In the same way from 2 to 3 and from 3 to 4. Now, all the systems data is getting distributed, right? Why it is getting distributed is because of the consensus protocol which is present there. The consensus protocol takes care of all the systems where the data gets distributed. Okay, and then every system will be in one common understanding that they need to accept the data, whatever is getting distributed. So let me distribute it to all the systems. That is what we actually call it as the consensus protocol, guys. Okay, hash cryptography. As I explained it clearly, SHA-256 algorithm, and that is hash is nothing but a unique identification for the block. Immutable means once the data is present inside the blockchain, nobody can change the data, even the owner also can't change it. And then distributed peer-to-peer network means whatever data which is present, it gets distributed to all the systems, or we can say to all the nodes. Okay, mining payments, mining is done by the miners. That is different concept altogether. It is relevant to cryptocurrencies, especially like a Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, if you go to consensus protocol, right, as I said, it is interrelated to your distributed peer-to-peer network. Now, here what is going to happen is, let me say if the data, if you want to distribute the data among the systems, now there should be an understanding between one system to another system, right? So when there is an understanding between the two systems, then only the data can be transmitted to another system. So how this is happening? Based on the consensus protocol. Okay, so based on this, all the mechanism and these are the important properties of the blockchain. You can name it as properties, characteristics, or features of the blockchain, guys. Okay, so now let me just explain you with this. Now, what is actually the types of blockchain which we have? Now, if you see here, there is a public blockchain, private, and consortium blockchain. Now, if you see, public blockchain means which is visible to everyone, guys. Everybody can see it. This blockchain, public blockchain, it is visible to everybody. There is no restriction in the public blockchain. Everybody can use this blockchain. The best example for this would be your cryptocurrencies, guys. Why? Because let me say, everybody knows about Bitcoin. Everybody knows about Ethereum. Now, when everybody knows about it, then that is a public blockchain. How many of you know about quads like this? QUARTZ. You don't know about it because it's a private blockchain. Why I'm saying it is a private blockchain? Because this is exclusively used by TCS people. That is something like it's a quads platform is only designed for the TCS guys. That means the employees of TCS, but not of everybody. You understand, right? Here, the quads is a separate platform which is confidential. That is a private blockchain. Now, public blockchain means everybody can implement it. Cryptocurrency, you can invest, I can invest. Everybody can invest it. There is no restriction. Nobody is going to stop us saying that you should not do it. So basically, all cryptocurrencies fall under the public blockchain domain. Why it falls under public blockchain domain is because they want to make their coin more popular. They want to make their coin more popular because if more people try to understand what is that coin, then they can invest on that coin. Once they invest on that coin, the value will go high. For that reason, all cryptocurrencies, they try to fall into public blockchain domain. Okay. Next, we go to private blockchain, guys. Now, what is a private blockchain here? Private blockchain means which is confined to a single organization. Now, for example, if you see the Reliance Group. Now, if Reliance Group is using the blockchain, right, that will be permitted only to Reliance Group like a Jio, Reliance Mart, Reliance Digital Mart. Now, that will only be confined to a single organization. That will only the Reliance will be the owner, and Reliance tries to put it in different branches, whatever it is actually having. So that is a private blockchain. Consortium blockchain means what? Consortium blockchain is actually here. What is going to happen in the private? We have a single authority, right? In the consortium blockchain, we are not going to have a single authority here. We can have multiple authorities. Let me say here, this is a Microsoft company, and this is a Google, okay, and then this is your Amazon. Let us say Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they came up with a prototype saying that we want to do funding for the startups. The startups which are really doing good, we want to do a funding for them. So now what they can do is, whenever they want to give funding, right, all the three companies, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, they try to talk with, all three of them, they talk personally, and then they will come up with one single decision saying that this year we want to give at least 20% of our revenue to startups so that the startups can grow. So they can come up with these ideas in consensus. That means in an understanding between three people. Whereas in the private blockchain, it is only one organization who is the boss. Whereas in the consortium blockchain, it is not like that, where we will have multiple authorities been involved. Okay, so it is Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. You can take in any example. I've just taken this example, but you can take any example and you can correlate, guys. Okay, so public blockchain means it is open to everyone. Private blockchain, where we have a single organization as a head, and then the consortium blockchain, where we can have multiple organizations so that they can take care of each and everything. Okay, so this is one of the important things which everybody needs to understand, guys. Okay, so now let me just go ahead. So here, now under blockchain, so blockchain is a technology, guys. Some people may get confused saying that Bitcoin and blockchain are same. So for those people, I'm trying to say that Bitcoin and blockchain are not the same, guys. Okay, Bitcoin and blockchain are actually not the same. Okay, so you need to understand this point, because blockchain is nothing but this is a technology, guys. Okay, this is your technology, and rest of the things are all are applications. See, these are all are your applications related to blockchain. Now, first application is your Bitcoin. Your first application of the blockchain technology is your Bitcoin, and then later we had Ethereum, Neo, Ripple, Waves. All these were actually present. Okay, then we had Waves, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Neo, Ripple. All these things were actually present. Now, these are all other applications of the blockchain technology. Now, still there are so many applications, but among them, the most famous one are Bitcoin and Ethereum. These two are right now in demand in the market, and they are the most important applications of the blockchain technology. If somebody asks you blockchain and Bitcoin are same, no, they are not the same. Okay, blockchain, Bitcoin, and Ethereum are the applications of the blockchain technology, guys. Okay, you need to be very clear with that point. Okay, now let me go ahead again. Now there are three key areas over here. Okay, there are actually three key areas. Now, using the blockchain technology, what are we going to achieve? So we are going to achieve value, trust, and then reliability. How we are going to get value, trust, and reliability here? So if you see, we are going to create a value by removing all the third parties, that is your intermediaries. If you remember, right, I said your banks and everything can be eliminated. Okay, so this is by we are creating value by removing all our third parties or intermediaries from the picture. Now, how we are going to create trust? We are creating the trust here. How we are creating trust? Because in the blockchain, whatever I've explained you, right, there is no third party or intermediaries been involved, because you know everything is P2P, that is peer to peer. Okay, so now when I say here trust, right, now how we are achieving this trust? With the help of advanced cryptography like SHA-256, because this algorithm can't be hacked. If you want, you can go through and study. SHA-256 algorithm is so strong that no hacker even dared to attack the SHA-256. Many people felt that quantum computing can beat this SHA-256. Even quantum computing gave a result saying that it will take almost 1.14 into 10 to the power 4 years to crack this SHA-256 algorithm. Forget about a normal person. Quantum computing itself gave this result. So that indicates the robust mechanism of this SHA-256 algorithm. So this SHA-256 algorithm is actually giving us the trust factor. So we are achieving this trust with the help of advanced cryptography. That is what we call SHA-256 algorithm. And what is here reliability? Reliability means the data is not in a single point. The data is getting distributed. As I said, the data is not in a single point. The data gets distributed to multiple nodes. So there is no single point of failure right now. Okay, so there is no single point of failure. Now, if let us say if any one system gets hampered, nothing is going to happen because rest of the systems are having the data. So there is no single point of failure. So in this way, we are creating reliability, guys. Okay, so value is being created by removing all the third parties and intermediaries. Trust is being created with the help of advanced cryptography like SHA-256 algorithm, and reliability, right? Reliability is actually being created. Okay, how? By using the distributed mechanism. Okay, by using a distributed mechanism, what did we do? We removed that single point of failure. So reliability came into the picture. Now these, by using the properties of the blockchain, which I explained before, we are going to get an added benefit like value, trust, and reliability is something which we are going to get in addition to whatever properties which we are trying to use it inside the blockchain technology, guys. Okay, so this is actually going to play a very vital role. These are the three key important areas. Okay, now from now on you will all get additional information, guys. These are all factual based data. Okay, so as you understood at least now what is a little bit relevant to the technology, what is technology, how the origin, scope, opportunities, and then I explained you how the block looks, what is the blockchain definition, properties of the blockchain, at least an overview relevant to that. And then we discussed about something called as the key areas where we can use, I mean to say, the three key parameters which can be achieved by using the technology. Now, if you see, as I already mentioned in the first part, that almost about 50% of the states are already been involved into this blockchain initiatives, guys. Now, all these case studies, Okay, whatever case studies you have taken here, right? Each and every state is actually working on the respective case studies. And Andhra Pradesh, okay, Andhra Pradesh was the first state in the entire country to start the blockchain technology, guys. Okay, it was the very first state to start the blockchain technology. And if you see this part, okay, like if you see over here and then northeastern part and then northern part over here, okay. So these parts are still left over. So this is the data from NASCOM, okay. So this is the data from the NASCOM. It's the stats of 2019. Okay, so 20 in the 2020, even Orissa has also started implementing it, and then to some part of Punjab and all, they are also in the implementation stages. Now, once even they will start, right? Now you could see that almost in the entire from top to bottom, from south, considering to the, from north to south, right? The entire India will be distributed. Okay, from entire India will be distributed with this technology. If you go towards the west and east also, you will be in a position to see all throughout India, this technology will play a very wider role. And here I have mentioned explicitly, like what are the states doing here? Like in which sector they are trying to target. Okay, what are the use cases they are trying to do? So all these are your use cases which are actually present. Okay, so one day or the other we will try to fix to make sure that we can discuss about the use cases. So Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, see, there are so many states which are actively working on this technology. So this is like a slide which I have intentionally kept to make sure that you can understand that all the states are actually working on this technology, guys. Okay. So now this is what the state governments are actually trying to collaborate with either IITs or maybe any startup or maybe any IT service based company. They are trying to integrate with those companies. They are taking the help of the blockchain technology and then they are trying to implement it in the respective states. Okay. If you see here, Telangana government, okay, and then IIIT Hyderabad, Niti Ayog, Tech Mahindra. Okay. And if you see here, the Tamil Nadu government and then IIT Chennai or Madras, if I would say. See here, Government of India, Gujarat government, if you try to take, and then it is ZepPay, it is working with the ZepPay. And then see here, Assam government is working with Nucleus Vision. Like this, every respective state government in trying to collaborate with other prestigious institute, or maybe if I would say any IT company or like that, like based on the comfort, like what the state government is actually going to find out, they're trying to integrate with them and then they're trying to implement it to the maximum level. If you see about the government of Andhra Pradesh, which was the first state to implement the blockchain technology in the land and revenue department. Okay, see here. So even they also have integrated with Zebi and then Hitachi. Okay, so in this way, each and every states are trying to integrate with the other prestigious institutes and then if I would say IT sector, and then they are trying to implement it in their respective states. Okay, so this is the wider scope, that is in the globe. I mean to say, like if I would say in the world, so these are the countries who are actually trying to work rapidly. If you would say here, your USA, UAE, Canada, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Malta, like this, there are so many countries. Okay, now who are leading here? See, green colors are leading. If you see the entire, okay, if you see the part over here, right, the entire US is actually leading in this technology. Now who is neutral? Who is playing a neutral role? That means they are still in dilemma. Okay, so India, if you see India here, India is in cautious state. Okay, India is still in the cautious state. This was the data from 2018. Okay, so this is the 2018 data. It was in the cautious state. Now, right now, I think they would have entered into enabling state. We are into the enabling state. See the Russia here. It is in the enabling state. Right now, we are into enabling state, and slowly, entire world will be in the leading state. Australia is in the leading state. Okay, so every province and every country in, especially in the entire world, everybody would start implementing this technology, guys, because it is having a wider scope. Now, what are the job roles which are available inside the blockchain technology? If you see the blockchain developer who is good in writing programs. Now, inside the blockchain, what are the programs you can write is, one is your Solidity, okay, Solidity, and then other one is your Go language. Okay, you can go ahead with any, this is the most famous one. Solidity is the very famous one. Now, if you are good in Solidity and if you can write good amount of codes with the proper logic, then you will be a blockchain developer, blockchain solution architect who knows in and out, of the entire technology. Like architects are the people who will be the SME, subject matter experts, who knows the blockchain technology from first to last. okay, where they should be in a position to integrate the entire technology inside the project. Cryptocurrency analyst who can predict that when the Bitcoin would go high and when the Ethereum would go down. So this is simply nothing but analyzing the data related to cryptocurrency. And then we have blockchain consultant here. Okay, blockchain consultant. Who is a blockchain consultant? The person who's going to make sure that who can design the entire projects with your clients, and then who can sit with the clients and you can convince deals. You can convince the deals, and then you can make sure that, let me say, if your team is finding any issue, then your consultant will come up and then he's going to help you. So for consultant also, he needs to have a very good knowledge. He should be an expert inside the blockchain technology so that he can help the team whenever they face any issues. And then you have a senior software engineer where you can design your cryptocurrencies. Now, see, Bitcoin was been designed by whom? As you know, Satoshi Nakamoto, which I explained you. In the same way, Ethereum, Litecoin, they are also having their own founders. Now, you can also create your own cryptocurrency with a special feature. So the person who's going to design the cryptocurrencies, right? They are the senior software engineers who can design all the type of cryptocurrencies. And the other part is research analyst. As I said, SHA-256. Why only SHA-256? Because research proved it. Now you can also come up with some different interesting concepts inside the blockchain technology. If you become a research analyst in the blockchain, where you can find out some new functionalities inside the blockchain technology, and you can prove to the world saying that, so this is something which I have invented it and we can implement it in a better way so as to make sure that still a blockchain can become more robust. Okay, so in that way you can also become the research analyst, guys. So these are all the various job roles which are actually available inside the market. Okay, still there are other roles also, but these are the most important roles. So this will actually play a very vital role when you go down the line, when you take this technology as the main technology or main part, or if you want to switch into this technology. So these are the roles which are actually available with you. Okay, yeah. So this is the end, guys. So I hope I have given a clear picture to each and every one of you. Like I have completed the major, I mean to say the major part, like an introduction and everything. So what did I discuss with you all, guys, and what did you all came to know from this, let me say approximately a 1 hour video. So if I would say here, it is your scope of the technology. Okay, one is the scope of the technology, and then what did we learn? Opportunities which are present here. Okay, and then we discussed about the where the blockchain is actually going to target, that is your data part, right? And then we discussed about something like, once the blockchain data part is covered, we discussed about the origin of the technology. Okay, like how it got originated, and then we discussed about the Bitcoin. Okay, so here in the origin we removed the third parties. We don't require any third parties. Because of third parties only, the mess was being created, like banks and everything. Now we removed the Bitcoin here. I mean to say, like, we removed the banks and intermediaries, and then we created Bitcoin, where P2P concept came up, that is peer-to-peer. Okay, where we had a concept called as P2P, that is peer-to-peer. Now once that is completed, then what did we discuss? Scope, opportunities, blockchain, origin, Bitcoin. So then we entered into what? Our architecture part. Okay, so inside the architecture, what did we discuss? We discussed about our main properties of the blockchain. Okay, so we discussed about the properties, like what are the important properties of the blockchain. So we discussed about hashing. That is nothing but it is the unique identification for each and every block. How the blocks get interrelated to each other with the help of your previous hash. Okay, so I hope this is also is clear to everybody. And then we discussed about something called as once the hash is completed, we discussed something immutable. What is immutable, guys? Immutable means the one which can't be changed. Okay, you can't change anything inside the blockchain if you try to put the data inside the blockchain. Okay, immutable. And then we discussed about something called as mining. Okay, if I just take here mining, right? Mining means it is all related to your cryptocurrency. Okay, and then we also discussed about distributed parameter. Okay, distributed means what? That is all the data gets distributed to different nodes. Okay, hash, immutable, distributed, and then mining. And then we said like consensus. Consensus also you can put it to distributed only, because the reason is the data gets distributed, right? If the data gets distributed, how it gets distributed? Only with the help of the consensus mechanism. Okay, for that reason, I'm trying to say that these are the important properties of the blockchain. So in the architecture, we also discussed about some of the parts like parameters, value, trust, and reliability. We discussed about the potentiality of the technology. Okay, the potentiality of the technology also we discussed. Like in India, you could see almost 50% of the states have already adopted it, and how they are trying to adopt with the help of the prestigious institutes and everything. And then we discussed about in a global scale, like how the technology is playing a vital role. Right now, India is in enabling state. Previously, it was in cautious state. Right now, it is in enabling state, and then slowly it will move into leading state. Right now, who is leading? US and Russia. These countries are leading. Slowly, India will also enter into the leading state. When India tries to move into leading state, right? By that time, you should be ready as a blockchain developer or an architect or an analyst. So based on the job opportunities which I have provided, so then you will have a lot of potentiality in the market, and you can earn enormous amount of money using this technology name. And at the same time, you will be the most important person, because you are targeting the most important thing, that is nothing but data. So data these days is an asset. So you are going to target the data with the help of the blockchain technology, guys. Okay, so I hope everything is clear. Have a great day, guys, and then make sure that you enter into this technology, learn as much as you can. Okay, thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye.